Alright guys, what's going on? Levi Trumbull reporting here. So if you guys happen to see a recent video that I did, then you know that I told this audience that I recently came into possession of a large document dump, maybe 700 to 800 pages, relating to judicial records pertaining to Pedro Argote, the individual who is the suspect accused of murdering Circuit Court for Washington County Judge Andrew Wilkinson back on October 19th, so a little bit over a week ago. Perhaps this audience is familiar with the fact that there was a massive manhunt to find Pedro Argote, and he was found just a few days ago deceased in a wooded area. Well, we have done an extensive record pulling in the Maryland judiciary to pull these records that we're going to show you today. We have his protective order situation, and we have his divorce case, which were all filed within the past year or so. So we're going to bring you some of the highlighted records from Pedro Argote. We're going to show you some images that were entered as trial exhibits. We're going to show you this protective order, which is here on screen. But one of the major things that we're going to show you, one of the highlights of this document dump, is that actual October 19th, 2023 court order from Judge Andrew Wilkinson, which was a major blow to Pedro Argote. This is where he, lost custody of his children, and a lot of terms and conditions were put forth for Pedro Argote to follow, which subsequently you can only assume, which is what set Pedro Argote off. He's deceased at this point, so, a definitive clarification might be hard, but we are going to bring you the final order of Judge Andrew Wilkinson. So you're going to want to hold on, and because we're going to get to that in a moment, but that is the highlight of what we have here today. So let's just kick it off. Right here, we see this is the protective order, which was filed by Eugenia Argote, Pedro's ex-wife. This was filed in, let's see what year. This was filed, this was 6/12/2022. And in this protective order application, she alleges harassment through text messages and watching security cameras and sending text and email threats, talking about taking custody of the kids. So here is that application for a protective order right here. You've probably heard a lot of different reporting about this application for a protective order. Here is that actual document here on screen where she lists the allegations. We won't read this whole thing verbatim. It is quite lengthy, this application for a protective order. But nonetheless, here it is right here. She alleges, like I said, it's harassment, basically ongoing harassment. So then we turn to the actual divorce case. Let's go right to the top. And you see that on 6/6/2022, Pedro Argote, actually, he was the one who filed for divorce against his wife, Eugenia. And this is actually, if I want to state it correctly, it looks like he filed this lawsuit pro se. And here's that lawsuit right here. There are 4 minor children, and he goes on to list who these kids are. Count 1, cruelty of treatment, and he's doing a complaint for absolute divorce. This is what he's seeking as a remedy. And it goes on. So that right there is the actual complaint that was filed. Obviously, in the lawsuit, it has to work its way through the judicial system. But I think we're just going to jump right to a portion that is very important, and that being the final order of Judge Andrew Wilkinson, again, which was on October 19th, 2023. Obviously, there had been lots of testimony taken, There had been hearings. There had been a lot of evidence admitted into court at this point, some of which we will show you in a moment here. But on October 19th, this was the actual judgment, this was the actual order from Judge Andrew Wilkinson prior to his murder. So let's just zoom in a little bit if we can. So, his words: "This matter came before this court for a marriage trial on a counter-complaint for absolute divorce, finding that there has been cruelty of treatment and there are irreconcilable differences between the parties, and for the reasons stated on the record, it is this 19th day of October 2023 by the Circuit Court for Washington County, Maryland, hereby ordered that the defendant, counter-plaintiff Eugenia Argote, mother, be and is hereby granted an absolute divorce from plaintiff/counter-defendant Pedro Argote. Ordered that the mother shall have sole legal custody of the minor children," and it goes on to list those children. Ordered that the mother shall have primary physical custody of the children. Ordered that until further order of this court, there shall be no visitation and no contact between father and any of the children. 2. There shall be no contact between mother and father unless initiated by mother for the purposes of use of the 2009 Mercedes. 3. Father shall make available to mother the 2009 Mercedes vehicle upon reasonable request to attend to necessary shopping or medical or dental appointment for herself and the children. Again, this is the 2009 Mercedes SUV. If you've been following the case, you know that was a big element to the situation when Pedro first went missing, when they were first looking for him. That vehicle, that gray Mercedes-Benz SUV, was plastered everywhere in an attempt for people to find him. But let's move on. Number 4, mother shall have sole use and possession of the family home and family use personal property located in, the Hagerstown property. Father shall not enter the Hagerstown property, and that the father shall pay onto mother child support in the amount of $1,120 per month for support of the parties for minor children. Ordered that mother is restored to her maiden name, and that's her maiden name. The court finding the change is not for any unlawful purpose. Ordered that the court holds remaining issues in this matter sub curia and shall retain jurisdiction for additional findings and decisions concerning visitation and all financial matters, including child support, alimony, property, and monetary award. And there you have the signature of Judge Andrew Wilkinson. Again, this court order went into place on October 19th. I don't see a particular time on this document, but nonetheless, October 19th, 2023, this was signed off on, and right after this order hit the books, presumably it was given to Pedro Argote. I would assume he received possession of this document, and following his possession of this document, he murdered this judge, Andrew Wilkinson. This was his final order. What you're looking at on screen is the final signature, his final order of his life, right here. So, just unbelievable to almost look at this, read this, and know that this was a document typed up, written, signed off on moments before this judge was killed by this individual, this person that he ruled against. And make no mistake, I mean, you read this, and this is a body blow to Pedro Argote. I mean, he's losing the kids. I don't know every single thing that transpired in this case, but if you're a father, 4 kids, I mean, this is a hard L for you. I don't know what, evidently it was found that there was some nefarious, unlawful, maybe abusive behavior on behalf of Pedro. I'm going to assume that was the case for these findings to come into effect. We don't even have orders. We don't even see anything about visitation in this document. I mean, this is a real order here, and unfortunately, this cost this judge his life. So just a very powerful thing to see here. So we're going to move on now, and some things I want to show you, some photographs. These are some trial exhibits. I think this is how we'll wrap it up from the case. So we have a lot of trial exhibits, but I want to show you some pictures from the case that were entered into evidence. So right here, obviously, we have redacted the faces of the kids, but we have exhibits that came onto the record. Pictures of the children, pictures outside the home. There we see right there's Pedro Argote. He's on a bicycle with his 2 children. He has 4, but these are the 2 children here. You see him, he's on a bike. Let's zoom out a little bit. Another image of Pedro Argote, you can see right here, holding one of his daughters. Of course, faces have been redacted. So I wanted to show you that there. Then it looks like another image of Pedro Argote with his children at what appears to be a pool. So another image of him there. Here it looks like we have an image of Pedro Argote reading, maybe a story time situation with one of his daughters, leaned over almost towards the floor. He's smiling. That's what we see demonstrated in that image. This is an image of Pedro Argote, his daughter. You can see right there. He's with his son, with his daughter. So a little family selfie right there. Again, entered into court record as an exhibit, which is how we have these documents. Him giving a kiss on the cheek, Pedro Argote, kiss on the cheek to one of his children, his daughter, right here. I believe that is the last image that was entered onto the record. We have a lot of exhibits into this case, business records. We have his tax statements that came into the record. I don't think we can show you those. I don't know, maybe we can. They're public record, but I don't think we will. See, I'm scrolling past it now, but in any event, we have lots of text messages. Lots of text messages came into the record. We're not going to read all these text messages. There's just so much here that we could not possibly get to it all, and a lot of them, I believe, are written in Spanish. So you can see a lot of that as we scroll past here, some of which were translated to English for the purposes of the judicial proceeding. But just a ton of records, a ton of information on this guy. And, for now, that is all we are going to bring you guys. If anything else relevant comes out of this situation, any breaking news, we will certainly let you guys know. But at this point, we have covered pretty much everything that there is to cover. I think at this point, I think this is one of those stories where, there's not going to be a trial. You have a man who murdered this judge. The judge is dead. Now we have Pedro Argote. He is dead. So you have 2 deceased people. There's not going to be a trial, no indictments, anything like that. At this point, I'm just going to leave it at this. Right here, what you just saw, the mainstream media, all these guys in the media, they are not showing you these things. These are things that are key details, key pieces of information in the story. If you're somebody who's interested in the news, this is the type of stuff you want to see. Why they don't bring stuff like this out is beyond me. But it's important to see it, and it's important to get an understanding of what happened here. But at this point, I think the picture has been clearly painted. At least that's what I've tried to do as it relates to this situation. And beyond this, I don't know what else I could provide at this point. Just a sad situation, but I don't think that there will be necessary reason to continually, unless something else comes up, of course, to continue to cover this situation. I think we've hit the nail on the head pretty good, and we will be moving on. So our condolences are obviously with the family and friends of the judge who had his life taken on October 19th, 2023, by Pedro Argote, as you've seen photographs of him previously. So Levi Trumbull reporting in Frederick. I hope this video was useful, and we will catch you guys soon. Thank you.